Friends, I got excellent news for you. My book is finally done. The work of 2+ years. Actually, the drafts were much older than that, and the research itself has been going on for 13 years by now. And this is the most important conclusions from that research about where you are right now. What are the opportunities in front of you? It's a quote that I made up, that he who knows the past bridges to the future. He defines the present in order to make the most of your life on a planet like Earth, of all places. It's very rare for someone from the far parts to ever hope of getting to Earth, but now you're here. And now you need the knowledge to make the most of it. And I've been researching for 13 years. This is the information age, There have been people who've been doing my kind of research. In fact, I was inspired by this American guy called William Cooper. Perhaps he was like 55 or something. He just died like in the 2000s. He knew something. I don't know from where he got all his information. Perhaps from the data sharing devices, pre-internet. I don't know, but he knew some stuff that even today you won't see that depth of knowledge anywhere. But that was what I was hearing 7-8 years back, and I've taken his work to its logical conclusions. He used to talk about the mystery school of Babylon, Freemasonry, the Osiris, Isis mythology of Egypt and all that. But he was like sort of confused because he didn't know what exactly he was the crux of the research, because he didn't know everything. He had that kind of dangerous half knowledge, in fact, which someone perhaps fed him, someone who knew more than he did, and finally he got used because of that, because he was perhaps leading a movement or something and he got shot by some cops over there. These guys who tell you what they know, esoteric secret societies or whatever, they might add some spins to use you, and that's the difference. If you read Chronorium, pure knowledge, 13 years of research. I'm not sitting behind you and asking you to do this or that. You just buy the book. It'll be delivered to your house. What to say about that? It's about the history since the ages of the gods, the 7 ages of the gods, which, I won't tell you which mythology speak of it, but there were 7 gods who used to rule Earth. This guy called Manetho, an Egyptian priest who Alexander's general told me met when he was at Egypt, and he became the Greek pharaoh of Egypt. So Manetho, this Egyptian priest, told him about the lore of the ancestors, which was about the 7 gods from divine ages, 7 divine ages, which were way back in the past. After that, there were like the demigods, and there were the spirits of the dead, who were the bosses of the universe. So I talk about those times, the biblical flood. People have no idea about when that was. It was millions of years back, and it's not as if we can't retrace the story, because now there are some other mythologies like the Black Library and all that, which help you reconstruct the pieces, but it's hard work. Comparative mythology, 13 years of research, that's what it took me. Although I had all the public domain information, the mythologies, the pure mythology, I didn't have any esoteric inputs, and that's good. I don't want to go down that path. There's always something you lose if you gain something like easy knowledge. It'll be like false knowledge, half of it. So I did my research, I used to have like an Excel sheet at a place I worked for 3 years. A funny story. That Excel sheet was like all comparative mythology, like Tolkien, Norse, South American mythology, Irish mythology, all these different columns, and I was trying to like sort of match the timeline on the other end and it was hopeless because I kept shifting the mythologies, and I knew that cracking Tolkien would be the way ahead. But these days, last 3-4 years specifically, I've also started cracking other of these game mythologies, like the Black Library of Warhammer 40k and Warhammer lore, and World of Warcraft. They've all got their mythologies, and they all have. It's almost like coded, or it's accidentally coded, perhaps because they all have their own narrow perspectives. They don't even know the reality as it is objectively from the overview which I found out, and that's all that Chronorium is about. Yeah, you will be understanding all the colors and everything about how politics works, which the people who are much more stupid than you use to rule you. And it's not just the history, it's the science to understand the history. Yeah, it's like an encyclopedia, like those 17th and 18th century cyclopedias. You find a couple of them. They were like contemporary ideas of the world views of those times by sort of polymaths, and this is sort of similar just for 2024. If you're in the US, it will be delivered to you. Chronorium will be delivered to you perhaps in a week. But if you're in a place like India, because I ordered a proofreading copy perhaps a month back, it took me almost 21 days. So it takes a while because it's print on demand. I'm not giving it out to these brick and mortar distributors, book distributors, because they just take too much of a cut. There's just no respect for the author. They take like $9 or something and leave $1 with the author just for putting that book on the store over there. I'm not going with that because these days anyone can buy it online, and I'll have like people coming for that book by word of mouth. I know that because it's intense. There's nothing like it. I shouldn't be like pretending as a marketing pro or anything because I never had that job in this. But this is not very hard to sell because it's like a really good product here. Lulu.com, that's my publisher. By the way, that's, you go to the shop section, you search for Chronorium, you find my book over there. Happy reading, my friends.
Peter! Oh God, sorry.